So today, my mum really wanted to make sure God was a part of the journey. And I just think she was a part of a cult. I'll explain why. Okay, I've just been watching Dancing for the Devil, yeah? And I can't sleep right now, so I'm like, I just need to tell this story. Okay, everybody, well, not everybody, but if you go to my profile, I've basically explained how my mum passed away, yeah? And I also explained how much she was a woman of God, yeah? And honestly, we tried so many different churches, as children, me and my sister. Okay, so she moved around a few different churches, yeah. I went to, I don't really want to name the church because the people that she left actually were the people that ended up coming to pray for her just before she passed away. When the pastor that she was giving money to and going to the church, he refused to come to pray for her on her deathbed in the hospital, because there was traffic. Okay, so let's go back a bit. My mum was going to a church that I was going to from the age of 14 or whatever. And after she had been in that church for a number of years, me and my sister even used to do hospitality at that church. We did the children Bible study, and then we also was in the main church as well, and then we also did hospitality team afterwards. Anyway, she left that church because she was there's too much drama there. We didn't really understand when she left, but we kind of went further into dance. So that's the reason why I wasn't at church as often. But she left that church and she was like, I don't like that church anymore. There's too much drama there, etc. And I was thinking, okay, that was the best church I've ever been to. Why would you leave? Anyway, it's my mum's spiritual journey, so I didn't really question it too much. Cool. Moving on from that now, she found a different church. But this church was they just had an energy because it wasn't a big church. It wasn't like the church we was at where they had sermons. It was Pentecostal and we preached and we clapped and praise of worship. It wasn't like that. It was very much okay, sit in a circle and he's going to teach you the word. And you need to know this and you need to make sure you give tithe and offering. And if you don't, then God's not going to bless you. And I also want to let you know that blessing actually means sacrifice, okay? So stop you saying the words God bless you, because they're actually saying God sacrifice you. Say something else. God be with you. God bring you abundance. Say something else. Anyway, so she started going to this new church, I believe, in 2010. Bearing in mind she died in 2020. So that was 10 years, a decade of going to this church. I say that because she used to keep the praise and worship booklets. And when I was shredding everything that was my mum's, I shredded 10 years worth of those documents because I went backdated. The last one that I found was 2009, 2010. And I was like, oh my gosh. Right, so she's been going to the church for 10 years. When she first started going, it was she had supervision, she would call it, yeah, which was on a Thursday. And then she started going on Mondays, and she started going on Wednesdays, and she started going on Fridays, and she started going on Sundays. So I was like, this is a bit intense for church, because normally you give God the holy day, which is the Sabbath. And you might do midweek service as well. You might even do Monday service, but 4 days a week I just thought was a bit intense. Anyway, I just thought, I don't really understand it, but it's my mum's spiritual journey, so I'm not going to ask too many questions. She had been going to this church now for a little bit, and it got to the point where, bearing in mind, I just told you my mum is partially disabled, yeah? So when she couldn't make it because she was in pain, I was a bit like, Mum, you're in pain, you're partially disabled, your pastor should get it. And she was like, oh, well, I must attend church because, the only reason why I can't go is because, my back's hurting too much, but the pastor's going to be annoyed if I don't come, so I need to go. I was thinking, what kind of rubbish is this? You're partially disabled. God will forgive you for not being there if you're in pain. God made you that way. Anyway, because she was born with spina bifida, she was born with a disability. It wasn't it came to her because she had an accident. She was born that way. Cool. All right, let's fast forward and let me get to really why I felt like she was in a cult. So let's fast forward to 2018-19 when I found out my mum had bladder cancer, yeah? And she called me and said, girls, I've got something to tell you. I think I've got a lump. And I was like, okay, cool. So this is the starting of me losing my mum. Bearing in mind, my mum was told when she was younger that she wasn't going to get past 10. So I was a bit I need to be grateful that I still have these years with my mum because she was told that she didn't have very long to live when she was born. Anyway, I just thought, okay, there's nothing I can do about this, but I'm pretty sure your pastor will support the journey of you going through cancer. Cool. Later on down the line, my mum was really dying. Me and my auntie had a chat in my grandma's house in the kitchen. And she was just like to me, yeah, Abby, do you know that your pastor knew that your mum was ill before you knew? Like, she told her pastor before she told you lot. And I was like, Auntie, bearing in mind this auntie's my godmother. So I was like, Auntie, like, why didn't you tell me this sooner? She was like, you know what mum's like with her journey? And I was like, I do. So I didn't really take anything personal towards it. Anyway, fast forward now, like, my mum's really, really dying. Do you know what I mean? And it got to the point where when I started going to the hospital, like, I went there and she was fine. Bearing in mind this was in COVID. And then they'll go back a day after and she was like, yeah. I was like, whoa, hold on. Why is she hanging? Why is her hand hanging? She was talking to me yesterday. I spoke to her on the phone. What have you lot done to her? And I could have sworn to you my sister saw the angel of death around my mum. I could have sworn. Because this woman just had this look in her eye. Like she was waiting. I can't describe it. But anyway, that's hospital stories, isn't it? That's for another video. Anyway, so I've now gone, It's a bit suspect that, like, my pastor knew, and it's like, why didn't you persuade my mum to, like, go to the doctor sooner? And she was, and, like, the pastor was like to my mum that she should just pray about her illness and she shouldn't try to take, like, medical help, which I didn't really make sense. It didn't make sense to me. Like, I put her on a alkaline diet, and that was also mixed with the chemotherapy, and we actually did see results and the cancer did start to shrink. But then she went on holiday and just collapsed the whole diet, and that was her last holiday, and she came back and she died in my grandma's house. Died peacefully, and she had a syringe that basically kind of speeds up your death. Anyway, that's not the point. When my mum passed away, yeah, just before she passed away, she was in hospital. And I was like, Mum, do you not want to, like, have your final days at home? And she was like, yeah, I do, but, like, I don't know. But she was a bit delusional by this because she was dying, so she didn't really know what she wanted, do you know what I mean? So I was like, come, Mum, like, let's get you home. Let's get you back in your mum's house. You're going to feel more comfortable there. My granddad died in that house, so it's like she was close to her dad. Anyway, comes to the day that, like, around the week of the passing, my sister's now called the pastor, like, oh yeah, will you come pray? My mom's now called the pastor, will you come pray? She's in the hospital, yeah, at the time, and I'm sitting next to her, and she calls the pastor. She says to the pastor, bearing in mind, key thing here, she was giving £400 a month to this church. She was partially disabled, and she wasn't making money like that. She was on benefits. She was on PIP. She's on disability living allowance. Like, she's on a few different benefits. So she's just giving her benefits away. Yeah? I'm sitting in the hospital with my mum. She's on the phone to her pastor. He says, yeah, Lorna, I can't pray for you there. You need to go home. If you're not home, I can't pray for you. I can't pray for you in the hospital. You need to go home. You need to go home. I was thinking, don't the pastors come to the hospital to do up the prayer? You see it? Like, what are you talking about? God operates anywhere. Don't need to be at home. You can be anywhere. You can be on the street, in the sky, in the air, on the ground. Anyway, he's like, now you need to be at home. So she's now she wants to go home, to die at home. Yeah. And I was thinking, why are you basing your decision based off the pastor? Bearing in mind, she was senile by this point. She wasn't 100% making sense of things. She was touching things like, oh, it's wet there, Abigail, but it wasn't. Do you know what I mean? So God bless her. Like, sorry, God be with her, because the blessing is a sacrifice, yeah? Cool. Gets to the point now. She's at home. She's asked the pastor to come pray. My sister's called. Can you come pray for mum? She's gonna die. This is it. My man says, sorry, I can't come. There's traffic. What? Sorry. Did you say traffic? I know you didn't say traffic is the reason why you're not coming after mom come to your church for 10 years and paid £400 a month. You lot do the math on how much money that is, because every month was £400. I just had to really, like, let this one out, because I've been thinking about this for a number of years, and I've decided to let God do the work on how his karma is going to get back to him. But goodness gracious me, after watching this, I was like, nah, my mum was a victim of the same thing. 100%. Not in the same way because she wasn't on TikTok, but goodness. Like, choose your churches wisely, guys. Because honestly, ulterior motives lives in these churches also. Okay? Anyway, that's the end of my story time. Don't think I'm going to edit this one. It's just going to be raw. Let's get this 10K. God loves you. Love you. Bye.